Well, hello there. Well, hello there. Well, hello there. And welcome to my channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, well, hello there. And welcome to my new studio setup. But I know that's not why you're here. You clicked on this video because you want to see the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera rigged up in all its cage-free glory. Check it out. Alrighty guys, so like I said, we're going to talk about the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera, and more specifically how I choose to rig it out and what my favorite setup is to run on this camera. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. So first of all, we've got the monitor. That's pretty preeminent there because Blackmagic, in their infinite wisdom, did not decide to put a flip out screen or any kind of rotating screen on this camera. We need a monitor so that we can see it from different angles. That also adds a few features there. Well, it doesn't really add any features, I guess. It just has different versions of those features. Like it's got focus peaking, level, things like that. So yeah, all of that's already in the camera, so you don't necessarily need it, but you know, you got that there. So the monitor I went with is actually a newer. This is the newer F100. It's just a little HD monitor, maybe 4K. I don't think it's actually 4K. No recording capabilities, so it's literally just to see the image beforehand. On the back of that, I actually have another newer product, and that is this little newer NP550 battery. You get a set of 2 of these for around 20 bucks, I believe, and those power that monitor. So that's really nice. Just a short HDMI cable into the camera. And then going down from there, we have the small rig, a little mini arm there, and that one actually came with a vice grip. I actually took that grip off because I didn't need it here. Up next we have the UU rig top handle. It's a hot shoe mount top handle, so in order to put it on this camera I actually had to get a hot shoe because, as you guys probably already know, there's just a standard like 1/8, 1/4 inch, whatever that is there. So I actually picked up a hot shoe mount from Small Rig as well, and that works really nicely. Locks it in there, can't slide all the way through, so that's a nice little feature there. Then you screw that down and you're mounted up, good to go. Hold the weight of the camera. Now this whole rig weighs probably 5 or 6 pounds, I think is what I threw it on the scale, and that's roughly where it was. Not a very accurate scale there. Alright, so moving on down. Up next we've got a just cheap matte box from Newer. Mostly that's there to just look professional. People like to see that. Makes you look like you know what you're doing, whether you do or not. Then we've got a Newer follow focus. Basically my whole rig is Newer. I've been using their products for probably about 6 or 7 years now, and I just really like them. I don't see the point in spending the money to get something more expensive. You know, if you need a manual follow focus, it's just got to be smooth, and this one's pretty smooth. You've even got the whiteboard sides there. You can mark with erasable markers. You've got the attachment so that if you need an extension you could put it on. Works really nicely. The lens I chose is the 18-35 Sigma 1.8 art lens. Pretty standard choice there. Then I've got the Viltrox M2, I believe Mark II edition of that one. I really like that adapter. It's also a speed booster, so you get down to, let's turn it on and see. I think with this lens, you can actually get down to close to 1.2 aperture, which is really, really, really wide open. Yeah, it says 1.2, so that is really nice. Yeah, so works really well for low light situations that way, not to mention the dual native ISO on the camera itself. So all in all, you could get some really nice shots at really low light. For memory, we have this Samsung T5 here. And the reason I went with the T5 is because I was able to pick the 500 gig up for about $80, which is much, much cheaper than CFast cards. The way I'm holding my T5 is actually with one of these little cell phone holders. You can actually pick these up, I think at Dollar Tree, for about $1. They come with like a little selfie stick or something, and then you unscrew it, and then I've got it mounted on another little small rig magic arm that's mounted up to that vice grip attached to that plate there. The base actually comes from a newer DSLR cage. The Blackmagic was a bit too big to fit inside the DSLR cage, so I actually took the whole thing apart, took the base off because it attached to the rails really nicely, and then I just put it on the bottom of this mount, and as you can kind of see there, it works pretty well. I did have to add a little plate here to brace the camera, brace the adapter, but overall, really nice setup. And like I said, it's cage free, you know, so no Blackmagics were harmed in the making of this video. Now, all jokes aside, like, I don't have anything against cages, and I honestly kind of want one for my setup. The problem was I didn't like the idea of spending $200 for pieces of metal. Now, I know that it makes a big difference because you want to keep your HDMI and your USB-Cs safe. I think the way I've got it rigged up right now, everything is safe, but you know, it could be a little bit safer with a cage and a cable clamp there. So all in all, really nice rig, handles really nicely, perfectly balanced, as all things should be. Yeah, I'm a big fan of this rig. I like the way it runs. You can definitely do some run and gun shooting. You can hold it up to your chest if you need to, get it a little steadier. You can shoot kind of underslung. I don't think you could put this rig on any kind of gimbal. It's going to be a little bit too heavy for that, I believe. I would definitely recommend working this way if you have some of these parts. And that's another reason that I went for this setup. I already had some of these parts. I had this monitor, I had the rail system, I had this base here, I had the follow focus, I had the matte box. I already had most of this, so I didn't see the point in spending a whole lot to add to it. Really, the only things I bought were the hot shoe mount and the handle there to give it a little bit more of a grip, to have another way to hold it. Just kind of goes to show that you can mount up the Blackmagic camera without spending another $1,000. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you learned something from it, go ahead and smash that subscribe button and stick around for more videos about photography and videography. I talk about all of that here on this channel, and I'd love to have you here. Thanks so much for watching, guys. See you next week.